Hey, thanks for joining us on this wonderful holiday weekend. Let me wish you and yours a very happy Thanksgiving. I want to recognize Althea Vitakos and her band of volunteers who selflessly, year after year, bring food and tend to those who need over the holiday. I also want to thank our community partners who've helped us collect food in the Comfort Keepers Food Drive to end senior hunger. We are still collecting food through the end of the month. On to today's topic, which will be very timely, especially if you have family in town for the holidays. Leaving your legacy. Many people plan ahead. They hire attorneys who prepare wills to keep their affluence in the family. They hire accountants and wealth managers to form trusts and others to ensure that everything is considered once they're gone. But far fewer people prepare to leave their intangibles, their life story, their history, their values, and their wisdom. Items which more often than not provide more and a far longer lasting than dollars and cents in stock portfolios and homes and other personal property. Comfort Keepers Home Care, in collaboration with noted writer Kurt Werner, is bringing to town the Legacy Living Project. Now anyone can have an opportunity to bring to life their stories, their histories, their photographs, and other memorabilia that this program will ensure that their families and future generations will learn about their lives and their passions and their values. It's truly a gift that will never stop giving. The mission of this program is to capture the words and wisdoms of our parents and our parents' parents. We were fortunate enough to have found Kurt Werner, who was already working on helping people tell their stories. Kurt has spent more than 25 years as a national journalist and an editor, and has worked in the senior living communities. He's a member of the Association of Personal Historians, and we're so glad that he's heading up this very important and exciting program for Comfort Keepers. It's the first of its kind in the area. Kurt, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to be bringing this to the community. You've been in that realm of helping people tell their stories. Why is it so important that people think about leaving their legacy and telling their stories?
Well, thank you, Michael, and thanks for having me. Very often people think that their life doesn't mean that much, that what they did in their entire lives only means something to maybe a few people, or even to nobody. But the truth is that everybody's life has meaning, and their stories are always important. Their families care about their stories, and it's also something important for them to tell as a person themselves, because what they do counted. People had a long life, and they did interesting and important things, and that means a lot.
I guess people don't always think about the things that they've done in their life as anything special sometimes, and so who would really want to hear my story kind of thing. Do you run into that?
I do run into that, but the fact is that when people say, well, I have nothing interesting, I'm just ordinary, but when I actually hear the stories, some of them are really eye-popping. They're really, really interesting. They've traveled and they've done some great things in their careers, and they've met some wonderful people. They just don't realize it.
We're going to go to check out a clip that we brought here, and it'll say a little bit more about how this program works, so check it out.
Doctors Marshall Duke and Robin Fevish created the Do You Know scale, which measured behaviors in children based on what they knew about their families and ancestors. And they found the children who scored highest on the scale had a higher level of self-esteem, better family functioning, lower anxiety, and fewer behavioral problems. So when we pass down our personal and family history, it can be the difference between success and failure for our children, grandchildren, and descendants. So what are your priorities? And have you made provisions to pass down your legacy? Documenting our milestones and defining moments is one of the most generous contributions we can make to our family's inheritance. By taking the time to set aside and preserve a carefully chosen collection of vintage photographs, letters, and recordings, you can be a highly valued elder today and at the same time secure an honored place in your family history for generations to come. But that may be easier said than done. Consider this. While most of our recent memories are drowning in a digital ocean, some of our most valuable personal and family history is fading away in old shoeboxes, obsolete home movies, audio tapes, and vintage handwritten letters news clippings, and a lot more. Yet within that sea of photos and writings and recordings are irreplaceable gems that tell your legacy stories, those special moments that loved ones would huddle together to see and hear, to learn and to reminisce. And now they are fading away or drowning. How sad. It's absolutely critical to rescue the best of your best already captured moments now. That is the difference between your recorded life and your documented legacy. Now, to help people grapple with the daunting task of mining and preserving their legacy media and stories, we've developed the Legacy Rescue Plan. Now, this is a simple 6-step plan that follows this logical sequence. First, we organize, then we prioritize, digitize, characterize, basically telling the story, memorialize, backing up and archiving for future generations, and finally, socialize, sharing the best of your best legacy stories. When finished with this life review, looking back, you will be amazed at how full your life has been. And because everything will be organized and preserved on archival digital media, you'll save lots of time and money if you ever want to have your memoir written, or produce edited family videos, or tributes, or photo books.
Well, I hope you found that as exciting as we do. Kurt, when should people get started on this program?
Well, the best time is now. There's no question about it. People erect obstacles to doing things like this. It's not important. I'll get to it next week. It's overwhelming. There's all sorts of reasons to procrastinate and not do it at this time. But the fact is that now is the perfect time, that there's no better time than now.
We're going to go to break. When we get back, we're going to find out how you can ease into this and get it done.
Is Mom really taking her medications?
A Comfort Keeper can ensure that your loved one gets their medications on time, providing peace of mind for families in need of flexible in-home care. Comfort Keepers, let our family take care of yours.
When a stroke or injury impacts your life, we're here to help you get it back. With our dedicated team of specialists, personalized treatment plans, the most inventive technologies, and a coordinated approach to recovery. This is more than just rehabilitation. This is a higher level of care.
Let's face it, life happens, and the laws change daily. Attorney Joseph Land can help guide you with legal issues you may face while aging. Len Law has helped countless clients in Sarasota and Port Charlotte in assistance with guardianships, Medicaid planning, VA planning, estate planning, wills and trusts, probate, and Social Security disability claims.
I'm elder law attorney Joseph Land. At Len Law, seniors matter. Your rights matter. And the legacy that you built matters.
I'm Rob Wyatt, and I've been offering reverse mortgages in the state of Florida for over 21 years. If you are 62 or older, a reverse mortgage can allow you to access your home equity while staying in the comforts of your own home with no repayment obligations for the rest of your life. And you remain on title. Call us to learn how a reverse mortgage can provide you additional tax-free income to enjoy life now and create a peace of mind retirement for your future.
Comfort Keepers can provide a variety of in-home services for your aging loved ones. We'll assess their needs and create a custom care plan that can change as their needs change.
Comfort Keepers, keeping the comfort of home.
The Harvey Center for Integrative Medicine is helping people every day to thrive and live healthy, vital lives. Our integrative approach combines conventional medicine with holistic and innovative therapies to help you achieve optimal function. Are you ready to function at 100% of your ability? Dr. Fred Harvey customizes tools and treatments to achieve optimal wellness at any age.
Hi, I'm Dr. Fred Harvey. Do you want to feel vital, vibrant, and fully energized? If so, call our office to find out how.
Welcome back. I'm here with Kurt Warner. Kurt has joined Comfort Keepers in our Legacy Stories program. Legacy Stories, tell us a little bit more about that and why it's so unique, Kurt.
Well, the unique part about Legacy Stories, and it's really a one-of-a-kind program, is that we go in and we talk to people one-on-one and really find out on a one-on-one, very intimate basis about their stories, and work with them to put them down in a way that people can see long after they're gone.
And I think what's unique about it is you can tell, make a big story and actually condense it down and get it in a very short period of time, because your grandkids, their attention span might only be a couple of minutes, and that's what this program does. It very concisely puts, a short sound bite with different photographs, because if you're just looking through photographs, you may not know who's in the picture or the story behind it. I mean, to me, that's incredibly powerful.
You can tell a long story in a short amount of time. And the other thing that's important to remember is when I go in, or Michael goes in, whoever somebody might talk with, it's much easier for a non-family member to go in and discuss these things very often with a family member. So it makes it much, much easier, and it removes that barrier, that obstacle.
Yeah, because this is actually set up. The website that we put together for you is personalized, it's secure, and it's only people that you want to see it can see it. And families can add to it, and families can actually do it themselves. But with somebody that is outside the family that can have an objective view. What's your role in helping guide this process?
I'd love to talk about that. It's a great question, Michael. My role is really to ask questions and to help people to stimulate thought and stimulate discussion about different topics, whatever the topic may be, whether it's something in the photo or not in the photo. It doesn't necessarily have to be. But I've been a journalist for a long time, and I've asked a lot of questions over the years, thousands and thousands, I have to say. And it's something I just love to do, and I believe that it sort of makes it a fun project too. Don't ever forget about the fun aspect to it. It's really enjoyable, and it's easy too. It's very simple once you get going.
In home care, one of the things that we want to do is create socialization. It's something that a caregiver can do, a non-family member can do, looking through photo albums, and that's why we brought Kurt on. Very excited about having him collaborate with us on this. And like you mentioned, people don't always know where to start. We have this whole booklet called Legacy Stories Handbook. This is an amazing, concise book that prompts you for the questions. And I think what's overwhelming is like, well, where do I start? How do you help somebody get started on this program?
Well, we try to narrow down to kind of shrink the process a little bit and just get things started, just kick off in a very it's completely non-threatening and completely enjoyable way. I mean, I need to enjoy it just as the person needs to enjoy it. You pick a couple of photographs out there. You can't just start with a gigantic box. It will be intimidating. Just to pick a few out and just get started in a small way.
I think what's nice about the manual is that it gives you different segments of career, spiritual life, military experience, having kids, career. And it lets you pick where you want to start and what you want to talk about, and you can jump around and then put it all back together in whatever format they want.
That's right. It'll be it's essentially a web-based scrapbook, and they're going to end up with a wonderful product, a wonderful project really that will literally last forever. It's web-based, and any of your even unborn grandchildren will be able to see it and enjoy it.
Well, I think that's really the impetus behind this for. Generations that may not even know you are going to know who you are, and they're going to hear your words of wisdom, and they're going to hear your values. And there was actually a study done that said kids that are more connected to their family actually do better in school and get in less trouble, and some really interesting facts. But
that's why we call it reminiscing with purpose.
Yeah.
There actually is purpose to it. There's purpose on both ends, the telling and the listening part.
I know people have lots of old films sometimes and slides and pictures everywhere. How do you help them, put it all together?
Well, I'll work with them. I'll work with anybody pulls out a box of photographs. It's kind of a fun thing to do, and we'll pick out the best. We'll just maybe randomly pick out a couple and just start talking. And actually, even before we talk about the photographs, we can just talk, kind of get to know each other, and it just smooths out the process, which, like I said, it can be intimidating, but we try to make it much, much less than that.
Do you find that people that you've worked with, like once they get started in the process, they really get engaged in it?
Oh yes, oh yes. In fact, they've come up with some things that even their family didn't know about, which is which is just really fun for me. And it's bringing up events in their life that they might have forgotten about themselves.
Is it okay to talk about painful periods in their life?
If they like. Sometimes people would say, well, some of these things, I don't want to talk about some of the things that hurt, that there might be a rift in a family. There's no requirement whatsoever. The person controls the process, and you can talk about whatever you like.
You know, it's so cleansing to be able to sometimes talk about some of those things, you know, with therapists and all that. That's what they do, and that's what they recommend. If somebody's talking about things, they may want to say something that kind of get it off their chest, and in a way that, you know, their family's going to hear it later on, that will be a clearing for everyone.
Well, that's another useful property of what we do. It's a useful aspect, I should really say, is that there are very often there's family rifts and there's problems in families, and this is definitely a good way to at least tell your side of it.
So, and not only photographs, I mean, you can actually take a picture of anything like a memorabilia or antiques and tell a story behind that.
That's right. I can just take a photo of somebody sitting across the table. You, for example.
Yeah.
Or we can use photos out of the box or out of the scrapbook, whatever they like.
I think what's also nice about this manual is that it gives you a whole track to run on, and it also allows you to leave, you know, your wisdom or your wills or things that you might want to say to grandkids that aren't even born yet.
Well, I'll give you a good example of that. I gave my mother a book that gives her a chance to write down some things for her life from school and things we never even talked about. She never did it. The reason she never did it is, I believe, is because there was nobody with her to prompt her a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's my role.
It's almost like a coach.
It helps. That's right. It is as a coach. That's right.
And that's the key. It's like, this seems a little overwhelming when you got all this stuff, and it's like, how do I put my life on paper kind of thing.
Well, it is overwhelming, but it's also not fatally overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's something we can overcome, and overcome in a good way that I think everybody really be happy about.
Well, stay with us. We tell you how to get started on this when we get back.
The Harvey Center for Integrative Medicine is helping people every day to thrive and live healthy, vital lives. Our integrative approach combines conventional medicine with holistic and innovative therapies to help you achieve optimal function. Are you ready to function at 100% of your ability? Dr. Fred Harvey customizes tools and treatments to achieve optimal wellness at any age.
Hi, I'm Dr. Fred Harvey. Do you want to feel vital, vibrant, and fully energized? If so, call our office to find out how.
With the help of Comfort Keepers, I'm keeping my mom healthy.
I'm keeping Dad on schedule.
I'm keeping my mom happy.
Comfort Keepers in-home professional caregivers can provide meal planning and preparation, health and wellness services, and personal care services through custom care plans that can change as needs change, so your aging loved ones can stay happy and healthy in their own home.
Comfort Keepers, keeping the comfort of home.
Let's face it, life happens, and the laws change daily. Attorney Joseph Land can help guide you with legal issues you may face while aging. Len Law has helped countless clients in Sarasota and Port Charlotte in assistance with guardianships, Medicaid planning, VA planning, estate planning, wills and trusts, probate, and Social Security disability claims.
I'm elder law attorney Joseph Land. At Len Law, seniors matter. Your rights matter. And the legacy that you built matters.
I'm Rob Wyatt, and I've been offering reverse mortgages in the state of Florida for over 21 years. If you are 62 or older, a reverse mortgage can allow you to access your home equity while staying in the comforts of your own home with no repayment obligations for the rest of your life. And you remain on title. Call us to learn how a reverse mortgage can provide you additional tax-free income to enjoy life now and create a peace of mind retirement for your future.
When a stroke or injury impacts your life, we're here to help you get it back. With our dedicated team of specialists, personalized treatment plans, the most inventive technologies, and a coordinated approach to recovery. This is more than just rehabilitation. This is a higher level of care.
Welcome back. I'm sure glad you stayed with us for this. This is Legacy Stories. We are talking about how you can leave your legacy for your family, and if your family's in town, What an amazing way to get your loved one started with Kurt. Kurt will come out. We're having an offer, no cost, no obligation, to come out and have Kurt meet with you and talk about how you can get started on this very simple project. You're going to make it simple for people, aren't you, Kurt?
Absolutely. It's really, I'll guide. I'm really the guide.
So how does the process work when
Okay,
you're
well,
there?
I'll come up with, we'll have the initial call us with the phone number and give us a call, and we'll schedule a time to come out, and I'll meet with you, and we'll discuss what your needs are, what you'd like to do, how you envision your project to be.
So then you help them sort of get started. That's the
right.
big thing. Pick a few areas of your life. You can always add to it anytime,
That's right.
ongoing,
That's
for
right.
years if you want it.
That's right. Because, we're not going to be able to cover someone's entire life in a short session, but if we find some important things, we at least get started.
Okay, so how do you get started? What do you do? What's the actual construct of the program?
Well, after we schedule the interview, I'll come over and we'll talk about how they expect the program to look like, their program, they're reminiscing to look like. And we'll take a look at some of the photographs. We'll discuss what they'd like to do, what they'd like to leave out, and we'll put together something really, really nice that they'll enjoy doing.
So once they decided where to start, you take a picture of a photograph, for example, and then you record their story about that photograph?
That's right.
I mean, that's very unique. And why is the audio so important?
Well, the audio is as important as the photographs. The photographs tell a story, but to have the audio is really key. I'll give you an example, Michael. I know a lot of people whose parents are gone and they have no record of their voice. I know some people who have saved their parents' voice on a voicemail or a answering machine for years. They'll keep it because that's the last thing they have left. My father died in 2005, and I have no record. I remember what he sounded like, but I have no record of it. So one of the most important things not to be overlooked is to have not just the photo, but to also have the audio of their voice, and that stays forever too.
We also know that as we age, we start to lose some of our mental cognition and memory and so forth. So I suspect doing this sooner than later is critical.
Now is always the best time.
So what are some of the things people can talk about in telling their stories?
Well, they could talk about their career, they could talk about the military, they could talk about their children, they could talk about their grandchildren, they could talk about moving, they could talk about their job. I'm working with a woman now who was in the U.S. Foreign Service for many, many years, and she lived in many places around the world. Just a fascinating story.
I mean, you do some very comprehensive novels for people in a sense. This is nothing like that. This is a very simple, you come in on a very nominal hourly basis to work with people, and it's very flexible, isn't it?
That's right. I work with some people to do just a much larger program. If somebody wants to do that, we certainly can do it. But if we just want to focus on a couple of aspects of their life, this is the perfect way to at least start anyway.
And I think, the fact that you have your own personal website that only people that you give password to get into will be there for all time kind of thing.
Well, that's an important aspect to it also, Michael, that's worth discussing. It's up to you. It's up to the individual. If they want to make it public, anybody in the world can see on the internet. But if they want to keep it to just family and friends, the option is there as well. If they want to make it so certain people in their family can see it or even not see it, that option is available too.
People are telling these stories, they don't always have in their mind clearly. What if they make a mistake when they're telling the story?
Not a problem at all. We can go over and correct any mistakes. There's no errors that can't be corrected. There's no stories that can't change.
And they can, they can start out very small, and over time, they can work with you. You can come in once a week, once a month. It's very flexible based on their schedule. But I think once people start to get into this, they're really like, I want to do more. I want to do more. Don't you find
that's
that
what
to
I've
be the
found
case?
already so far?
Yeah.
Is the people I'm working with currently, they can't wait to keep going because it's really it's therapeutic as well. It's really, and it's a lot of fun to go back and look at some of the things you've done.
This also enables them to capture their assets. For example, artwork and things like that you can take pictures of, and it actually, records it for insurance purposes and for estate planning and things like that.
Well, whatever subject or aspect or topic you'd like to cover, we can do that.
And this program can be expanded on, down the road. You can add to it in family. It almost becomes like a little Facebook thing online where family members can get in. Now, can the family members add their stories and their pictures to it?
Yes, they certainly can. And there's options to do all those kinds of things. Anything you'd like with somebody who doesn't even live in this country, for that matter. It's open to being as creative as you'd like to be with that.
You mentioned people might have some things that aren't necessarily photographs. They might be on some reel-to-reels. Do you have some outlets to help people extract that information that probably will be lost to deterioration?
Yes, we can do that as well.
Yeah. So, what are some of the other things that that you found with people that you're working with that they say to you, like after the project's done or after they've done some of it? How do they feel about it?
Well, they feel happy about it, and it's really a very satisfying process because they've reviewed, and just think about reviewing your years and your life, and at least aspects to your life, and going back and knowing that future generations will be able to see it. Just imagine that in 50 or 75 years, long after you and I are gone, that people will be able to, our relatives will be able to open up a web-based, if there still is a web-based product out there, and be able to find out about what you and I have done.
And I think
it's quite empowering.
And another thing that can be done with this program is that they can weave it together and figure out what parts they want in a particular storyline, and then burn a DVD, and then they can actually give that, or their families can even order that online.
Absolutely, there's flexibility to do many things like in that area, of course.
And you don't have to be a current client of Comfort Keepers or Kurt's to take advantage of this. This is a program that we want to preserve the wisdom of our elders and really create connections between families. So, give us a call. We're going to be putting online legacystories.org/Sarasota. So it's very simple, legacystories.org/Sarasota, or you can give our office at Comfort Keepers a call, and we'll get you hooked up with Kurt.
Let's give that number.
This is an amazing program. Take advantage of it. Check it out online. Thanks for watching. Have a great holiday weekend.
Thanks, folks.
Comfort Keepers, Comfort Keepers, 'cause there's no place quite like home. Call Comfort Keepers.